Okay, composting in arid lands environment. Despite all the massive amount of green you see here, this is unseasonal rain. Normally we have lots of trouble getting anything to rot. Best bet is grab everything you can, run it through a shredder. In this case I managed to get a second-hand shredder from this mob. I think it's DDX from memory. Hit them up for a second-hand shredder if you need a commercial level shredder that will do cardboard and paper. And the second part of the secret is grab all your shredded goodies. Ooh, shredded cardboard. Yum, 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 yum. And walk out the back. So what we have here is we have a Geddes style bin, one of the smaller ones, sitting on top of a black plastic tub. And the idea of the tub is that it retains enough moisture for rotting to occur. So this is one of these questions about context. So if you live in an area with high humidity, high rainfall, you don't need to do this. But if you live in an area that's pretty much a brittle environment, you are going to struggle to get anything to rot. And so my solution is I keep a tub filled with sand and water, and anything I want to compost goes on top. You can see that the previous lawn clippings were a bit too green, so we're adding in our shredded cardboard, which is just the usual composting story of trying to mix up your greens and your browns and find a ratio that's going to work to some degree. Nothing's ever too scientific in the process. Yes, so the combination of the sump with the water and the plastic helps hold in enough moisture for things to actually rot. Otherwise you'll be having a pile of rotting matter, well, dry matter there for years that you just can't keep enough moisture in. Part of our context is we're also on sand, and so that also drains away moisture very rapidly. You can see with the smaller compost bins sitting next to the bigger bins. The bigger bins have the same tub underneath them buried into the sand, and then the compost bin goes over the top of that. So we still have a wet sump system, but in the bigger ones you'll find that the water will evaporate more rapidly because it condenses on the side of the bin and then drains down in the gap between the bin and the sump. We also put micro sprays on the top of the lids and a tap on that, so I can control that. So that micro spray is on the normal drip irrigation system that the fruit trees are on. And when I need to make sure the bin's a bit wetter, like I've got new compostable material in there, I just make sure that spray is turned on and make sure that the drippers are run once in a while. So this bin here is full of wattle that I ran through a slow shredder or silent shredder. Once again, these things are expensive, but run it over your mower, chop it up, and this is at the start of the rotting process, and you can see a bazillion of these little slaters or wood lice running around, and there's a worm in there too. And so the combination of slaters and worms seems to be a magic combination, very mutually beneficial. So I think the slaters tend to chew things a bit more, and then the worms kind of come along and can eat the fungi and bacteria, etc., that from the chewed up pieces that the slaters leave behind. So this here is probably a little bit dry, but over time, as we keep running the drip irrigation on the fruit trees, this will get a very nice moisture level, and it should actually break down remarkably rapidly. There's our micro irrigation mist spray in the top. So I've tried to use a fairly small, fine spray to get the distribution I'm after. And here's one that's completed. So I've also dropped in a bit of shredded cardboard on top of that over a bit of time, just to give any creatures that are still in there something to feed on while I'm waiting to harvest the compost. But this is compost in an arid land environment where it's really hard to get anything to happen. So I do add worms to these bins.